And I know you worked as a bookseller with Barnes and Noble briefly right after college, right? Because you had an intern with Highlights magazine and Kenyon Review. So at what point do you decide I'm definitely moving toward publishing? Was that always the plan before you go to school, or when do you figure that out?
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. Ever since I realized that that was a thing you could do, I had kind of wanted to be a teacher. Yeah, previous. My mom was a teacher, and so I thought, oh, I'll go into teaching, and I love kids. And then when I realized, pretty much in high school, that this was the publishing existed, and this was a thing you could do, then I knew that that was what I wanted to do. So one of my college friends, actually, she always remarks how, like, my first day freshman year, I was like, I want to go into children's book publishing. And so, yeah, I was just really lucky in that regard that I knew exactly what I wanted to do. So,
And you knew it was going to be children's books. You didn't flirt with any other genre.
no, no. I think that's one thing I learned at Kenyon too. So like I said, I studied creative writing. The focus there was more on short stories. I mean, probably because that's more manageable to finish in a semester. And I really learned that I was terrible at writing short stories. That was my big takeaway. And also, it just wasn't the kind of, it wasn't what I like to read as much either. And again, I really, and that's why I skew, I think, towards picture books, light, funny. Those are just more my cup of tea than something super weighty and dark and serious. So, so
Okay.
yeah, I never toyed around with adult publishing. I definitely never took. Once I was already in children's book publishing, I took a copy editing class at NYU. It was one of the further education classes. Presumably Harper paid for it, which is why I was able to do it. And so, but in the class, the copy editing class, you had to try a wide range of assignments. It wasn't just children's books. And I remember I had an assignment. I had to copy edit a cookbook, a recipe, and I did a terrible job on it because evidently I was supposed to be able to catch that, oh, that should not have been a cup of that. It should have only been a tablespoon. And the teacher remarked on my paper that I must not cook very much. But yeah, I think I did apply for a cookbook publisher only because, like, it was a job and it was open, but I don't think would have succeeded in that. So.
Well, before we started, you were showing me your beautiful new installation of pans.
It's true. It's true.
Has that changed for you, or is that's still more or less true?
I actually, I do cook a lot more now, and I am more interested in cooking. I remember the first time I really had to cook for myself was when I was a junior studying at the University of Exeter. I remember I couldn't fall asleep one night because I was like, I have to, it was that realization that you have to feed yourself for the rest of your life. And that terrified me. And at that point, I think I had already almost caught the microwave on fire by putting tinfoil in it, because I knew you could cook a baked potato wrapped in tinfoil. And I knew you could cook it in the microwave, but I didn't put together those were not two things you could do at the same time. And I also didn't know the very first day when I was living in this flat in England, I thought I would impress, I wanted to make friends. So I thought I would impress them by cooking for them, which I don't know why I thought that, because I couldn't cook. And so I got some spaghetti and I offered to cook, but then I wasn't sure if it went on the stove or in the oven, because I knew lasagna you put in the oven. But I, again, hadn't realized, like, you do the cooking of the noodles on the stove beforehand. I just hadn't connected a lot of those dots. So luckily, my friends just cooked the pasta for me. And ironically, they're still friends I'm friends with to this day. So I guess it worked. My ploy worked. But I do, and one of my flatmates, I remember her saying that it's really relaxing for her to cook. And I thought that was just preposterous. But now I do find it relaxing. But I will sometimes multitask and sometimes read some manuscripts or answer emails while cooking as well. But yes.
Oh wow! So like, if somebody's trying to get your attention, they've really got to hook you, because you may be watching a pot boil.
Exactly. I do remember I did take on one client once whose work I read, just kind of read a submission, but yeah. But that's not really what I do, my main body of work, obviously. But